Good morning, I'm Chris Fox. Welcome to day 12 of the 21-day novel challenge. Today's a big day because I am finishing the first draft of the novel Destroyer. So 12 days, 60,000 words. You guys have watched the entire thing and have seen every part of my process. Here it is, completed novel, 2 days ahead of schedule because it's a little shorter than I thought it would be. By the end of this video, you'll see the last of those sprints written. I haven't done them yet, but I am 100% confident that I will. I found over the last few days, based on the comments and emails, that you guys seem to really like some of the motivational stuff that I'm dropping into these videos. So today I'm going to talk for a couple of minutes about deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is a concept that I learned about from a book called Talent is Overrated, and it completely changed my life. So prior to understanding what deliberate practice was, I thought practice meant just doing something. So when I was in high school, I used to play the trumpet, and every day I would practice for a half hour. And that consisted of me trying to play some sheet music and never really learning anything. Deliberate practice is where you very consciously go through the fundamentals of what you were trying to do over and over and over until you get them right. So you try something, get it wrong. Try something, get it wrong. Try it again, get it wrong. Try it again, get it right. Try it again, get it wrong. And keep doing it until every time you do it, you get it right. That's how you improve at things, and that's how you improved at writing. And that's why it is so vital that you do this consistently every single day. And I know that when you see me doing this, you're like, oh, well, he's been writing for years and years and years. Of course he can do it and make it look easy. But I'd encourage you, even if you're brand new as a writer, to look at this as something that you can do and do much more quickly than you'd expect. About a month ago, I picked up an Apple Pencil for my iPad. And I did that because I've always wanted to learn how to draw. I have zero artistic ability at this point. Stick figures are as complicated as it gets. And yet, after I picked this up and I started watching some YouTube video tutorials and doing deliberate practice, trying to draw a face over and over and over, after a couple of weeks, I can draw a pretty good face. And I'll show that to you in today's video. Just a sketch that I did, my first freehand sketch. It's not amazing, but you can see that I've gone from stick figures to that's a recognizable human face in a couple of weeks. You can apply exactly the same sort of approach to your writing. Take a deliberate practice approach. Know that it is okay to suck. Just look at what areas you currently suck in, pick one, and start fixing it. If your description is terrible, work on your description. Pick up a book that'll teach you to do better descriptions. If characters are your weak suit and you can't do dialogue, start working on that. But one by one, find each of the areas of your writing that is not working the way that you want it to and improve them. And that's how you get better at your craft. Now, for this to be done effectively, and this is why I'm such a huge proponent of it, you need to write consistently. The reason why I advocate you get into a habit of writing every single day, doing a whole bunch of writing sprints, is because if you do that, now you've got the words with which to work. Maybe today you don't know what you're doing and your words are terrible. But if every single day you mindfully approach one little aspect of your writing that you want to improve, characters, description, setting, pacing, whatever it is you're tackling, point of view, you're going to find that you get better in that area. And if you do that for a year, let's say you take up that 10-minute a day challenge that I proposed a few videos back in day 8, if you do that every single day and you work on something for 10 minutes related to your writing, where will you be in a year? I guarantee you'll be immeasurably better than you are right now. So if you take anything away from this entire series of videos, take that. Deliberate practice. Get into the habit every day of writing and trying to get better, and you will surprise the heck out of yourself this year. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the rest of the video. Hopefully when you see the next segment, it's going to be me cheering because I have finished this book. One of the more common questions that I get is, when and how do I make modifications to the plot? So does that happen during my writing sprints, or do I do it at some other time? To answer that question, no, it does not happen during my writing sprints. I always try and segment what I'm doing. So if I'm writing, I'm working purely on writing. If I am plotting, then I'm trying to work purely on plotting. I find that plotting is more relaxing for me. I really love that kind of tinkering. So I typically do that later in the day. This particular instance of plotting is happening before my last series of sprints to complete the novel, but I wanted to show you briefly how I do this. So Here's the change that I'm making. I've got a chapter called Go Down with the Ship. And the idea is that Captain Dryker, yeah, I changed his name, is going to die. He's going to go down with the ship, and the ship's going to blow up, and it's going to be the noble heroic sacrifice. But as the plot has evolved, I've decided two things. First, I would like to be able to use him further in the series, and second, after shows like Game of Thrones, I am sick to death of characters that we love getting killed, so I'm going to try a fake out. It's being set up that you think there's no way for the captain to survive and that he's almost certainly going to die, but I'm going to modify the plot so that he lives. So this chapter here, Go Down with the Ship, is going to be completely deleted. In its place, I'm going to add a new document. So add new text, and we're going to call that Escape. This will change later. The Tigris vessel is hailed by the Void Wraith. Turns out to be Nolan. Nolan explains about bomb, asks Captain to go warn Council. So what I'm going to do is have the Captain escape the system to go warn the Council about this giant bomb that's coming at the end of the book, and that way he's going to live. So there you have it. It's super, super simple for me to make changes like this. I will put more scaffolding around this, and the scene will actually be written today. It'll be the first scene that I write. But there you see how easy it is for me to go in and change some of this stuff. I did it. I did it. So here we are at 9:40 a.m. on day 12. It's a Friday. And I just finished writing the first draft of this novel. So from word one until now, it's been 12 days. I've worked my butt off every single day, and here I have a completed first draft. I think the core of this book is really solid, and I think that when I'm done polishing it, when you are done seeing the editing process in the next 7 days, this book's going to be good. I think that sci-fi fans will really enjoy this, and I'm very proud of what I've accomplished so far. So here's the proof that writing fast works. I've got a decent novel in record time. Now, tomorrow's video will move on to the editing phase. The first 2 days are going to be very light since I'm ahead of schedule. The next thing that I will do, which is some of the most fun, is just a read through. I'm going to go through each of the chapters one at a time, start at the beginning and read through, and just make notes. I'll be adding, more of those little triangles that you see throughout the document, and the actual rewriting where I start doing the editing will happen on Monday's video, which, let's see if I count on my fingers, Friday is 12, Saturday is 13, Sunday is 14, so on day 15, Monday, is when I will start the actual editing. In any case, I am going to probably celebrate by going for a nice long hike, but first we'll do the recap of the document so you can see in Scrivener what I did to finish it. Wow. So yeah, you can see I finished up at 57,700 words. So let's take a look at the stats. My final words per hour on the first draft is basically 3,700, which is wonderful. It was dragged up just a hair by my second sprint today, which was my best sprint of the entire writing of this novel. So you can see I hit 4,200 words in 20 minutes. I was in flow state and I just wrote like the wind. That was definitely by far my best one. And I'm very happy with the way that things turned out. If you look at the chapters that I finished today, I believe I started with Primo Online, then Down with the Ship, Promoted, Nolan, Countdown, The Core, and Epilogue. And I finished that up. So as I mentioned earlier, now it's going to be moving on into the editing phase. I've already identified some areas that I'll have to flesh out, which you'll see go through the read-through, including names. So I need a name for Fizgeek's Vessel, I need a name for the Primo Homeworld, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So you'll see more and more documents start appearing down here. But the important thing is, guys, I finished it. So you got to see how over the last 12 days I've generated momentum. I've kept working as hard as possible to get these words down, and here we are just 2 weeks later, this book is done. So for those of you who are following along but not actually doing the challenge, I have to ask you, what have you written in the last 2 weeks, and what could you do in the next 2 weeks? I'll reiterate, I am not special. Everything you've seen here is something you too can achieve. So hopefully I hear from a lot of you after this video that say either you are writing your butt off or you plan to start writing your butt off today. Anyway, that wraps up day 12. Thank you so much for being along for the journey. It is on to day 13.